चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दं माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम्. I would do the invocation prayers for Shrimad Bhagavatam as well. Taji. Oh, you can sing along. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरयेत्. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोकैर्भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोपाकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्. हरे कृष्णा. Okay, I hope devotees can see my screen. So
yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Somebody can read verse 31.
Suya Mataji. Prabhu, can it be a little bit zoomed out? Because this is, I think, very small text.
Yes, Mataji. I've seen control shift Z. Okay. Is this better?
Yeah, better, Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranam.
No.
Eka prapathyate bhavantam hitvedam swakalevaram kushale tarapateyo bhutadrohen yadbhutam.
Translation as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
He goes alone to the darkest regions of hell after quitting the present body, and the money he acquired by envying other living entities is the passage money with which he leaves this world. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we will do the shloka and the translation, and then maybe the last verse we can read the purport also.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. 31. So now next 32. Please go ahead.
Sarika Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Text 32. Devenasaditam tasya shamalam niraye puman bhunkte kutumba poshasya ritavitta ivaturaha. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maintainer of kinsmen is put into a hellish condition to suffer for his sinful activities, like a man who has lost his wealth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sindhu Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pranams. Should I read the translation or?
The shloka
I'm not
and
able
the
to.
translation.
Okay.
Shloka
33.
translation.
33.
Yeah.
Okay. केवलेन हि अधर्मेण कुटुम्ब भरणोत्सुकः याति जीवोऽन्धता मिश्रं चरमं तमशपदम्. Translation. Divine English. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, a person who is very eager to maintain his family and kinsmen simply by black methods certainly goes to the dark, which is known as Andhatamirsha.
Oh.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. And the last one.
Prashanti Mataji, you can read the verse. Prabhu purport as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Prashanti Mataji, you can read the verse and translation. Krishnamurti Prabhu will read the verse.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Adhasthanaralokasya yatanandayah kramashah samanukramya punar atra vraje chuchihi. Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. Having gone through all the miserable hellish conditions and having passed in a regular order through the lowest forms of animal life prior to human birth, and having thus been purged of his sins, one is reborn again as a human being on this earth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Just as a Krishnamurti Prabhu will read the purport.
Yeah, sorry Mataji. Yeah, thank you Mataji. Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandawas, Pranams Mataji, Pranams Prabhuji. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Just as a prisoner who has undergone troublesome prison life is set free again, the person who has always engaged in impious and mischievous activities is put into hellish conditions. And when he has undergone different hellish lives, namely those of lower animals like cats, dogs, and hogs, by the gradual process of evolution, he comes back as a human being. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that even though a person engaged in the practice of the yoga system may not finish perfectly and may fall down for some reason or other, his next life as a human being is guaranteed. It is stated that a person who has fallen from the path of yoga practice is given a chance to his next life to take birth in a very rich family or in a mercantile business or a very rich, very pious family. It is interpreted that rich family refers to a big mercantile family because generally people who engage in trades and mercantile business are very rich. One who engaged in the process of self-realization or connecting with the supreme absolute truth, but fell short as allowed to take birth in such a rich family, or he is allowed to take birth in the family of pious brahmanas. Either way, he is guaranteed appear in human society in his next life. It can be concluded that if someone is not willing to enter into the hellish life, as in Tamishra or Andha Tamishra, then he must take to the process of Krishna consciousness, which is the first class yoga system. Because even if one is unable to attain complete Krishna consciousness in this life, he is guaranteed at least to take his next birth in a human family. He cannot be sent into a hellish condition. Krishna consciousness is the purest life, and it protects all human beings from gliding down to hell to take birth in a family of dogs or hogs. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports for the third canto, 30th chapter of Shrimad Bhagavatam, which is entitled Description by Lord Kapila of Adverse Fruitive Activities. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Shri Paschatya Deshitarine. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So my sound is better now, is it? Am I audible nicely?
Yeah, it's audible, Prabhu. It's fine.
Okay. So I moved my laptop a little bit nearer because I think earlier the volume was low. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Shrimad Bhagavatam, and we are reading here from the third canto. The third canto, Lord Kapila is explaining the spiritual knowledge to his mother Devahuti. And as it is said that there are 6 darshans or 6 schools of thought in Vedas. One of them is Sankhya, right? So if you see in the third chapter, when Arjuna asks that Krishna, you gave two paths. One is the Gyan Marg and one is the Karma Marg. So then Krishna says that Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. These are the two paths. For the Gyan, if you want to take the path of Gyan Yoga, then Sankhya is the process. From there we start. And other path is the Karma Yoga path, which ends in Bhakti. Right? So that is why you will see that knowledge is compared to a sword. Knowledge is very bitter. That is the truth about knowledge. Knowledge is very bitter. Okay. If somebody is in distress and you go and tell them the facts, right? Those facts are very painful. Very painful. So the path of knowledge, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 that that path is difficult. And that's why if you will see here, Lord Kapila is describing the adverse fruitive activities, karma, adverse fruitive activities, vikarma, right? So bad karma. So in today's discourse, I would be covering following topics. First, just a gist of the 4 or probably 5 verses, last 5 verses in one line. What is the topic that is going on? You all are already aware of this. The topic, it's a pretty somewhat on the heavier side actually, right? And then I would like to talk about the reality of this world if we look, from the practical point of view. And then delve into a little bit into the definition of karma, what karma is, from this perspective. Then is there any signs of or any existence of vikarma in our lives also? Then there is a mention of envy, that a sinful person acquires money by envying towards others. So what that is, so touch upon that point. Finally, some solutions, because this is all problem, world is like this, karma is like this. So the solution that is given to us in terms of Krishna consciousness, so looking at it from a deeper perspective, what Krishna consciousness is, and then finally our lives the way they are, which is somewhere residing in karma mishra bhakti right now, that there is some karma and there is some bhakti in our lives, and then what is a very powerful practical solution for that. Okay, so this is the outline of what I would like to present before all of you today. I would stop. Well, I will stop sharing. You can just one less distraction. Okay. Hare Krishna. So once again, I would like to welcome all of you, and I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve all of you in some capacity. The last 5 verses of this chapter, Kapil Dev is, Lord Kapila is talking about sinful occupation. Sinful occupation results in hellish life for that person, and so do for his family members. If you look practically, unless a person is directly working with a non-profit organization or an NGO, most of the occupations in this world today, they fall under what Prabhupada said, Ugra Karma. Okay, so if you will get into the depth of what business it is and how it is done, you would realize that there is some sort of unfairness or some imbalance happening. Like Hiranyaksha was taking out the gold from Mother Earth, and most of the manufacturing industries, because it has been industrialized, they are exploiting the resources of Mother Earth more than what is needed, and exploiting Mother Nature. So even if it is car manufacturing, which may look like very sin-free in that sense, if it is exploiting the Mother Nature with so much metal, that also falls under Ugra Karma. Okay, so this is the gloomy side of the truth about the world that we are living in today, that most of the occupation in Kali Yuga that people have, they are not very pious in nature. Now, I would move on from this topic by just giving a couple of examples from those professions which seem like they are very pious and very good and can be good, and there must be some that are good, but for the at large, there is some sort of wrong doing happening in those also. So one example is that when it comes to education industry, schools, there is a provision by government that if there are students who are doing very good but they cannot afford good education, then every school must provide a free seat. Okay, but this fact, because they will lose money on that one free seat, they are not required to highlight that. So this is a simple example of how even in an industry as sin-free as it can be in education industry, there are rooms for doing it unethically, and schools do that. Okay, practically nobody knows. Second part is government itself. At a very large level, if you will see how the government functions through political parties, most of the money that comes to political parties comes through sale of liquor. Probably the practical example is Arvind Kejriwal. The reason he is in jail is because of some sort of financial transactions that were happening based on the liquor thing. So the governments are running on the money of liquor. What to talk of people who are working under them, right? And the last example that I would give is that, I know a person who was working for a beer company, liquor making company, and he's into IT. Now, just imagine if this person really puts his life and soul into that work, that, Nishkam Karma Yoga I have to do, I will perfect my life through Karma Yoga. If he really puts lot of effort, because of which his company succeeds, what will happen? It will result in increase of liquor sales in the in the country, right? So what is happening here? So that's why if the master itself is not good, if the government itself is having issues, like, they are running the country on liquor money, and all the companies, they pay taxes to that through that government only, no matter what you do, Nishkam Karma Yoga practically becomes impossible in Karma Yoga. Okay, so this is just the first one. This is actually 30th verse, but it's a continuation, so I picked that up. Okay, so don't worry, solution is coming. Okay, the 31st verse talks about that persons who have sinful occupation, that person alone goes to hell. And imagine if they were really doing very well, they are making crores, and they are very lavishly staying, because it is sinful, they will not be at peace, and somehow or the other, the balances of life, they would give them some suffering. And this money, because it is sinful, they have earned by envying others. So that's where that envy wala topic will also come later. The 32nd verse says that such a man, right, when he ends up going to hell, it is literally like he has lost all that luxury, all his wealth. That is how then his fate will be in the hellish planets. And then the 33rd verse is one who becomes fond of cheating, like this, and he only subsists on cheating others, they will go to hell. But then Prabhupada writes in the purport that this is not for all family men. If people understand their responsibilities and they try to do whatever they can from their capacity, there is no sin for them. So there is some hope over here that if somebody would walk over to me and say, hey, so what are you doing about changing the country? So it's like, yeah, I can do something from whatever small level I am at. I cannot, unless Lord empowers me, I cannot change the world. Nobody can. It will be an illusion if I think that I can change the world, right? That is Rajogun, basically, trying to change the world. But in my capacity, my resolve is that I will stand with Dharma. And that is the first lesson that Krishna gives to Arjuna also on this topic, where he says, you have to change the definition of success. You have to change the definition of your what is success. Success is not money. Success is not victory by pushing others. Success of your endeavors and your occupation is if you could execute your duty in a sincere way. Even if you are working for a wrong organization, then to raise our voice that this is, this is not ethical. Even that one line once is something so significant that in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, in the entire Mahabharata saga, the people who raised objection against the Draupadi incident, whoever said that this is not correct, this survived in Kurukshetra war. And only those people survive. So that is how significant it is, even if we express our opinion that this is not good. That's it. So again, saying that in my capacity, what I can do, at least I can express my inability, even if I'm nobody, right? Moving to 34th verse, which is the last verse, it says that after burning down all these sins and all the account is over and this thing, so then again come back to this world through different species of life suffering, and then you get the human birth, right? So this brings us to the end of this chapter, and here it is said that this was the description of vikarma. Okay, are you with me so far? All right. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So, thank you, Prabhuji. So now, if you see, we actually, humans, we have developed this arrangement that in the name of comfort and safety, we have built an artificial life around us. We live in, between four walls, far away from the reality of this world. And if you want to see the reality of this world, if you'll go to the wild, where there are still forests, you will see that the life is actually, in its true reality, very harsh and very bitter. We are very safe over here, but we have practically lost all the abilities to defend ourselves against the animals, unless we have like fire or something. It's very difficult. We cannot survive. So we live artificially created lives, and whenever any truth of life comes across us, we find it very unbearable. So death is a very, very natural cause of this world. It's a very natural effect in this world. You will see death is everywhere. Plants have insects that hardly live for 2 or 3 months. They are dying. Everything, if you will see, birth and death both are very common in this world, and it should not actually affect us if we are living closer to the world and looking at the world that is happening around us. Okay, so Krishna, that's why mentions this twice in Bhagavad Gita, that this place is dukhalayam ashashvatam. Right? This world is temporary, but it is full of miseries. It is actually a very cruel place. If you see even the way animals survive, what to talk of forests, even in cities, the animals like dogs or cats, if you see, right, if they give birth to 7, let's say 7 dogs are born, 7 puppies, hardly 2 or 3 survive out of that. And if you'll go down finding out what happened to the other 4 or 5, it's painful. So that is the reality of this world. And this reality, this is coming through Gyan. Gyan will always be bitter. It will always tell us how bitter this place is, and that's why what is Gyan Yoga? Sometimes, people do not understand the definition of Gyan Yoga. Gyan Yoga is a life of renunciation. A person, a householder cannot say that I don't understand bhakti, so I will do Gyan Yoga. No, that's wrong understanding. Gyan Yoga means you renounce this world on the foundation of this knowledge that this world is a dangerous place. So I'm leaving the worldly matters. That is the definition of Gyan Yoga. So it's all about sannyas. It's all about, and that's why Krishna explains that unless you have gone through the process of purification, renunciation is immature. What is the process of purification? The process of purification comes from karma. process of purification is karma yoga, right? So what is karma? Simple definition: anything you do in this world where the beneficiary of that work is you, me, that is karma. This is the simplest definition. And by default, when you don't have knowledge, when you don't have spiritual knowledge, anything that you do unknowingly, the beneficiary of that is you only. It's nobody else, it's you only. I'm brushing my teeth for myself. If I go to work, it's for myself. Everything we do, indirectly, we do it for ourselves. Somebody may say it is for family. Is it for the family of your neighbors? No, my family. That is, Prabhupada would say, extended sense gratification. It's for me and mine only. So karma, which is done without knowledge, falls under Rajogun, and which is nothing but everything that is related to me and mine. That's it. And 99% people, chapter 14, Prabhupada says, 99% people in this world, they fall under this Rajogun category of sakam karma, where people work for their own enjoyment. That's it. So that is karma, sakam karma, right? In this, there are two categories. First is self-preservation. Self-preservation means if I am only doing those activities because of which I would stay alive, I can keep the body and the soul together, there isn't so much reaction to that. For example, I'm just eating so that I can survive. Hardly any karma in that. Okay, because it's self-preservation. I'm brushing my teeth. Srila Prabhupada said, even if you chanted 64 rounds, your bad smell of your mouth won't go away. So the self-preservation you have to do. The second topic is self-enjoyment, fun. That is where every karma has a karma phal. Karma phal means when you do something, you get something in return. You work and you get salary. You will not work. If your employer says that next 10 years you have to work for me and I will not give you even a single rupee, no salary for you, you come and work, will you be able to work? No, you cannot work. You are working because you get salary. Okay, so that is karma phal. What happens because of karma phal? Two things happen. First, karma phal, like it is said, right, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This third part that Vedas tells us is that there is also a desire to repeat it. When you get karma phal through one activity, there is a desire to repeat it also. And there are karmic reactions. Apart from karma phal, there are reactions also based on whether it is good or bad, which literally can be said as tendencies only to repeat it and get habituated of it. And that habituation, that when I do something and it gives me pleasure and I try to repeat it, that is called karma bandhan, bondage of work. So karma bandhan will bind you. If a person has had an extremely successful occupation, like he joined army, then he became a military general and whatnot, and then after 40 years he retires, he is attached to that idea. He will go back and take a post-retirement job also on that. Okay, that is the bondage of work, because of which you got so much enjoyment that you don't want to leave that one thing that you can do. Okay, so that becomes the problem statement. Now I would like to speak about little bit about Vikarma. Vikarma, we have already seen some very heavy statements and they don't need as much explanation. I would like to get on to our practical lives and see if Vikarma exists among devotees and non-devotees. To start with non-devotees, uh, when I was married, right? So in my in-laws side, I had two uncles. Okay, one smokes but does not drink, and one drinks liquor but does not smoke. Okay, so they got to know, and I met them individually, separately, and they said, okay, oh, you are associated with a spiritual this thing. Okay, oh, you don't do this. Yeah, it's good you don't smoke, and but so the person who smokes, he said that drinking is not good. Drinking is not good, but smoking once in a while is okay. Okay. And I was very new, and I was not like, oh, let me give him some bitter medicine of gyan. No, I didn't do that. So then when I met the other uncle-in-law, he said that drinking once in a while in a social setting is okay, but smoking is bad. So who is right? Who is right? Many times when we see conflicting discussions, right, even among devotees, sometimes if a conflict occurs, right, we try to judge who is right. I'll tell you, based on what I have seen, there are different levels of right and wrong and whatever, right? But the truth is that in most of the arguments, both the parties are wrong. Both the parties are wrong, because there's an argument. Argument means absence of love also in many ways. So it cannot be that this guy is completely wrong and this person is so nice and he was on his way. No, there is some absence of love if there is argument, and that absence of love makes both the parties wrong. Okay, so then who decides who's right and who's wrong? Even in our devotion, it is said that sometimes, especially in the beginning of bhakti, right, we can easily follow those instructions that we are already doing in our lives. Whatever I'm already doing, like I'm studious, I'm a book reader, I'm a voracious book reader. So then reading Prabhupada's books is a not very big thing for me. So when I come, I talk about that only. Everybody should read books. Somebody is not into book reading, but they can do a lot of seva. This guy cannot do seva. He will say, no, service is everything. Well, who is right? Well, they both are right and they are both wrong also. Because when it comes to shastras, when it comes to spirituality, and when it comes to any subject matter, whatever instructions are given, everything needs to be done. And that will be the true evaluation. Like Krishna says that even if one sense is not controlled, it will take you away. Just like a very strong wind takes the boat away, it will take you away, right? It's difficult, it's everything, whatnot, but first let's understand facts as facts, right? Are you with me so far? Hare Krishna. Okay. So, so there was this person, he was into Satyam, and Satyam company, what they started doing was that they have to show profits because they were publicly, this thing traded company, and they have to show profits. So they started lying about it. And when they started lying about it, he says that it was like I was riding a lion. So when I'm riding a lion, I'm scared that, I cannot get off. If I get off the lion will eat me. But I cannot continue riding the lion also, and he's taking me all places. So they started lying in their books that they are making profits when they were not making profits. But because they were lying, they could not now start showing losses. And it went on for a very long time. One day, somebody came, he was caught, and then he was jailed. Okay. Now I'll tell you something very harsh reality among devotees' lives also. Sometimes, in the name of devotion, in the name of Krishna, devotees do not follow traffic rules. Okay. Or they may cheat when they are filing taxes, and for years they may have cheated filing taxes, and they may give very nice reasons like I'm doing it for Krishna. But are you really doing it for Krishna? And then if you get caught, then you're fined heavily. Why? Because somebody honest comes and takes it up and goes on that case and punishes you. You would be surprised how many devotees in United States of America have died because they were chanting while driving. So there is a tendency among devotees that if I'm on the path of devotion, then certain rules don't apply to me. Or like Krishna will cancel them out, or he would, give me some benefit of doubt. Well, benefit of doubt was not even given to a pure devotee like Bhishma Pitama when he was standing on the side of adharma. Right? And we have a tendency to think that if it is really big, if it's a really big adharma, then it is punished. But if it's a small thing, right, then I mean, it's okay, probably, or like, anyways, there are so many things wrong. No, but that is the point that, that is being brought over here, that Gyan tells us that It is important to understand this life and this world the way it is. And if you will see, the rules and laws of this world are very stringent. Fire is not made in a way where she decides whom to burn and whom not to burn. Oh, there was a baby, so everybody got burned, but the baby was not burned. Or all the living entities survived and the non-living entities died. Doesn't happen like that. Or got burned. Doesn't happen like that. So the rules of this world are very stringent, and to align or to take side of Krishna really requires that kind of sincerity from our side. Okay. So that was something that I wanted to talk about on that topic. Next topic is envy towards others. And this is also very important aspect in our lives. Envy towards others. There are two problems with that. First, a person does not envy whom they love. A person does not envy somebody they love. Like if a wife's husband becomes successful, then she becomes very happy. Okay. Or if mostly the envy, the levels of enviness, let's say even if it is low among brothers, then they become very happy that my brother succeeded. Then wow, my neighbor succeeded. Oh, envy. Why? Because I don't see him as mine. My child succeeded. I'm proud of him. Why? Because he's mine. Right? If somebody else's child succeeded, so why this happens? Because we don't see them as our own. Lack of love results in envy. If you see that this is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that Krishna is our father and we all are family members, then there is no question of envy in that. You will feel happy for other person's success. That is part one. Part two, so this is like from bhakti perspective, love perspective. From Gyan perspective, which is the reality, the bitter side of this world, what are you envying for? The things that are worth having are spiritual in nature, which are equally available to you and me. Oh, he can chant Hare Krishna. Oh, you can also chant Hare Krishna. But when we start seeing those things which are compared to stool, like gold is compared to stool, or other person's property is compared to worthless, that a person, when they are really on spiritual platform, they see the stone and gold as non-different from each other, because they understand that at the end of this life, none of this is going to come back with you. So what are you really envying about? Is it worth envying? So when you see from Gyan perspective, then the things that make us envy, they are all actually directed towards your momentary happiness, momentary temporary happiness, something. And this sometimes, in a very funny way, this manifests among devotees who are not serious for self-realization. If you are not serious for self-realization, then you are not serious for those activities in devotion which are respected. For example, somebody's study is very good, they are respected. Somebody's seva is exceptionally selfless, they are respected and recognized among the devotee circles. I don't do much service. I am not into book reading also. Okay, devotee comes to my house, I sit down, I show the chandelier, I show, this is worth 1 lakh rupees. Very nice. And my son has gone to America, he's there from last 5 years. So and the other person also, if he's not serious about self-realization, okay, he would also envy about those things. 1 lakh rupees chandelier. Wow. Oh, your son is in America. So if you see from spiritual perspective, neither what we are praising is worth praising, and neither what the person is envying is worth envying. Okay, what's there if instead of chandelier you have a tube light? How much your life is going to change? Even the person who installs the chandelier will be happy for not more than 24 hours or not more than 6 months. After 6 months you wake up, will you be happy? Wow, I have chandelier at my home from last 6 months. No, you will not be. Right. So this is where that seriousness towards our reality, accepting the reality that I am actually a spirit soul, that becomes very important. Hare Krishna. So let me see. So that was about envy. that comes into our lives because of lack of love, lack of connectivity with Krishna, and able to see people as our own family members. And the second aspect that I said was because of still valuing the ways and modes of sense gratification in this world, that results in that. Okay, so that then brings us to now solution side. Okay, start talking about the solution. What is Krishna consciousness? By definition, Krishna consciousness means doing things for the pleasure of Krishna. Okay, from karma side also, what Krishna explains to Arjun is that you will get happiness if you follow the Vedas. Sakam karma also, if you follow that. And then he explains the entire process of yajna. Yajna means a process where you understand that this universe, you are not disconnected part of this universe. You are connected through an entire universal administration, where your karma account is not just with the law and order of the country among humans that you are living with. They are supervised by higher administration, which includes demigods. And to those demigods, if you express your gratitude and you understand how there's a cycle of what you get and what they are giving you, if you complete that cycle, they will also be satisfied, you will also be satisfied. That is yajna. Understanding that you are connected in this world. So that is the yajna process. And then all different types of yajnas are given for different people in the society. With whatever occupation you have, you can perform it as a yajna. Then Krishna says, but still there can be a risk of sin and pious activities in that. And if you want to eradicate the idea of sin and piety, which will only take you to either hell or heaven, then you need to become selfless. That is the foundation of spirituality. Selflessness. So that's where then the topic of Nishkam Karma Yoga comes. Doing things, without endeavoring for the fruits of the action. So Nishkam Karma Yoga directly aligns itself with the definition that Prabhupada gave us, which is that Krishna consciousness should be done for the pleasure of Krishna. One very important aspect in this is when I go into an aeroplane, one time at the entry, I need to show a ticket. Here, I have the ticket and then I'm in. Or I go into traveling, wherever I go, I need to show a ticket and then it's like, okay, I'm in. So sometimes people ask, when did you come into Krishna consciousness? Then I'm like, yeah, I came 11 years ago, I came into Krishna consciousness. Like a ticket I showed and now I'm Krishna conscious. But it doesn't work like that. Krishna consciousness is like a ticket that you hold every moment with you. And you have to ask yourself, whatever you are doing, are you doing it for Krishna and for devotees and for others? If you do not remind yourself of this fact again and again, you go back to your default nature, which is you're doing it for yourself. And when you're doing it for yourself, the bhakti component reduces and the selfish component increases in that. That results in karma mishra bhakti. That is the definition of devatas also. Devatas do a lot of things for Krishna and then they switch that channel off and they switch on the party channel and they party. That is karma mishra bhakti. Okay. And that can totally happen when you are doing devotional activities also. Okay. And I'm coming to the solution, but I'll give you another example before that. It's like diabetes. Let's say a non-devotee has diabetes and he's been strongly advised, don't consume sugar. But he consumes sugar. What will happen? He would be afflicted with pain, which will result in suffering. Now, what if he is chanting, if he is devotee? Yes. First of all, this fact is not going to change that if he has diabetes and if he is being told not to consume sugar, but I'm offering it to Krishna, I offered the gulab jamun to Krishna, can I have it? Yes, you can have it. It will result in that material pain. It will result in that suffering that will come because of that. But because you are a devotee, you have an option that you can utilize this situation of pain to take shelter of Krishna and purify yourself. You can take shelter of Krishna in that situation of pain and purify yourself. Otherwise, if we are thinking that we will just get a clean chit just because, I said 11 years ago, Krishna consciousness, something should, some benefit I should get. And it's very gray area. Maybe Krishna will do. I don't know. Right? But as I said, the laws of this world are very stringent. The fire will not burn you. It's not like that. It's not going to happen. Right? Let me give you an example, then we will come to how bhakti helps it. The intensity in bhakti burns down karmic reactions to an extent where it can burn out complete material reactions. Is there an example? There's an example, and it is of Prahlad Maharaj. When a person is a pure devotee, without no tinge of selfishness in that, completely selfless, completely devoted to the Lord, even if he is offered poison, the effect of poison is that your body will die. But if you are purely situated in bhakti, you will consume that poison, you will not get the reaction of that poison. So that is where now we are moving towards solution. First, I said that the definition of Krishna consciousness is doing things not for yourself, but putting the beneficiary as Krishna. Reminding ourselves again and again that whatever I do in bhakti, I do it for the pleasure of Krishna. Second is trying to increase that intensity. If that intensity increases to its perfection, then even the karmic reactions will not work on you. What to talk of gulab jamun? Even poison you will consume and you will not die. That is the power of intensity of bhakti, right? How do I get that then? How do I get such intensity? How can I increase intensity? So what is that intensity, first of all? That intensity is that I am ready to do whatever is needed to serve Krishna. I understand that can only happen when I align myself with the instructions of my guru. That can only happen when I am living in the society of Vaishnavas and I'm trying to serve them very selflessly. So the more I try to dedicate myself to the devotees, Guru and Krishna, and try to follow the instructions which are actually difficult for me, whatever are easy for me I am doing, but also trying to do those instructions that are actually difficult for me, then my intensity in bhakti is increasing. That is one. From externally. Internally, let's say I'm not able to do that, then how does the intensity increases? Intensity increases that I only get to meet the devotees and sit and take prasad with them on Saturday. It would only be for 15 minutes. So entire week, I am just longing for that moment when I will get to sit with devotees and I'll get to eat one morsel of prasad. And I'm just thinking about that, and that is my only joy. And I keep thinking about it for 6.5 days. Finally, when I get to do that, naturally my appreciation for devotees and that prasadam increases like anything. So when we long for devotion, it increases our appreciation. When it increases our appreciation, naturally our selfish tendencies decrease. So valuing what we have, whatever we have, sometimes people have problems with some devotee. One devotee, like, I cannot be with that person. You take this test and you remind yourselves or imagine that you are stuck in some remote country where you do not even understand the language of people. Like you are on a Japan, some airport in Japan. They don't talk your language. All the food they have is all non-vegetarian, and you see that one devotee that you had probably whom you don't like, you see that devotee somehow there. You would run towards that devotee and you would hug that person, and then they will give you prasad, you will get prasad. When you value a devotee because he is a devotee, none of this, I have this problem, I cannot appreciate, or I have envy, none of that will come, because that love will come on the power of that appreciation that you have for it. Okay, so one last, and with that I will end, that is a very practical solution is, my Guru Maharaj says that gratitude does not give rise to devotion. Gratitude is devotion. Gratitude will not help you in bhakti. Gratitude is bhakti. So, this very simple practical way is that we are grateful for devotees. We are grateful that we are receiving prasad. We are grateful that I am able to go to temple. I am grateful to Prabhupada that he created these temples for us. I am grateful to my Guru Maharaj that he has become the guiding light in my life. And to remind ourselves this again and again, the mind does not work on intelligence. This is just one fact that just came your way. That's fine. But if you don't put it into practice, the mind will make you forget it like that. And that's why rituals are important. And that's why many brahmacharis, very ritualistically, what they do is that they maintain a diary called gratitude journal. I used to attend one personal leadership program which will charge people 25,000 rupees per month, $300 a month. And what are they selling? The first thing they would ask these people to do in the name of leadership is sit down and write gratitude journal. Okay, we are getting it for free here. So gratitude journal. When we sit down at the end of the day and list down all the things why you are grateful for each and every person, from Krishna at a very high level to Prabhupada to my better half who cooked food for me today, or my Prabhu who got, who worked one another day, Purusharth, the cream of 8 hours of a day, he sacrificed going to some place, where he could have done whatever he wanted to do. That appreciation increases. And this is antidote to all the sufferings in life. A grateful heart would never have a complaint. Okay, so if you want a very practical solution to become selfless, to become Krishna conscious and be able to do that on a moment to moment basis, we should really try to strengthen our gratitude by putting it into practice. Then you will realize that every prayer that we do helps us doing that. When I start writing on the book, now it will start going in my prayers also. Then it will start going into my Hare Krishna chanting also. So with that, I would stop over here. I covered the 4 verses, then the reality of this world. Then we talked about karma, what is the nature of karma. Then a little bit about vikarma that we have in some small quantities in our life. The envy that we have towards others. What is Krishna consciousness? How we have karma mishra bhakti, and then a practical solution. And I see Raj Lakshmi Mataji, please go ahead.
Prabhuji, thank you so much for the lovely class, Prabhuji. It is like more of an eye-opener, Prabhuji. Although we are kind of doing these things, but when somebody senior like you comes and let us know, like, this is the actual way of doing certain things, it really helps us a lot. So thank you so much for the class. I request if you can please come and give us your association a little more regularly, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Really appreciate your words of encouragement. I'm not that senior, but by your encouragement, I may be able to do something.
Hari Hari.
Hari.
So as Mataji said, excellent explanation of these 4 verses, Prabhu. So how many of us are ready to make this journal? Gratitude journal. Means I'm ready. Yes, Prabhu. This is such a practical solution that we will not have envy, jealousy, nothing at all. And all these impediments in our, bhakti path will be vanished if we will start actually doing it. Even I'm going to ask this to do to my 7-year-old son.
Yeah.
That, because this is what I feel is the most practical way, because we are always looking out for such kind of solutions, that we are in the path of bhakti, but how we should improve ourselves, how we should actually from a practicing devotee become actual devotee, which is a long run. But yes, this is a very, very practical solution. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful class. I can see there are 2 hands raised, so yes. I'll give first chance to Sarika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, you started the class by mentioning the 6 darshans.
Yes.
So, if I recall, the 6 darshans are the Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, and Vedanta.
Yes.
So, Prabhuji, out of all of these 6 darshans, which is the one that we follow? I know that the Sankhya philosophy has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and in Bhagavatam also. So, it's Sankhya, I somewhere remember listening in one of the lectures, there are 2 types of Sankhya philosophies. Is that true? And do we follow the Sankhya that is mentioned in the Darshans? Or are we following the Vedanta which is given by Vyasdev?
Yes. Sankhya is something that is explained by Lord Kapila to Devahuti, which is an analytical study, an empirical study of this world, which may be bitter because it shows the bitter side of this world, and it inspires us to develop renunciation. We follow Vedanta, which is also called Brahma Mimamsa. So Vedanta talks about bhakti and how the path of bhakti is not about hating this world or despising this world, but trying to use Krishna's energy into Krishna's service. Right. So that is the path we follow, Mataji. Because Bhagavatam covers every subject matter, and especially the 24 avatars of Lord Vishnu. That's where this Shaktiavesh avatar of Lord Kapila and his teachings become part of Bhagavatam, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shobha Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Wonderful class, I would say, because we used to think that we are very devotees, pure devotees, and not pure, but yeah, we are into devotional service. And now today we got to know that, yeah, enviousness is there because we tend to do these things again and again. So, Prabhuji, just wanted to know, like, mostly these sessions are very practical. So I'm discussing with some people who are not in that much into bhakti right now, but yes, they have just started chanting. So I share with these points with them. So should I continue with that, like all these points, so that they, if I do, I think that they will come to know somehow that okay, whatever they are doing is not devotional, is it's not that much devotional and bhakti. So that part I wanted to know.
No, Mataji, I mean, the idea is that if you meet somebody who is not in bhakti, then we need to do 2 things. We need to inspire them to take up as much bhakti they can take. And second, we need to create an environment where they can also see themselves practicing bhakti, starting the process. Right. So if I call somebody and the only exposure they have to bhakti in their lives is just my phone call, then it will be a little difficult for them to do things that they have never seen, never experienced before. So first part answers your question, which is that we should try to inspire people on any aspect of bhakti, and that would definitely help them. So devotion is it's a process. It takes time, right? And everybody's beginning is a humble beginning only. So whatever little aspect of bhakti somebody is doing, we should encourage them further. And whatever knowledge we are getting, something nice we heard, we should share it with them. And rather encourage them that whatever they are doing, it's good. Yes, if they have questions, why this, why that, or something, if we have the capacity, we should try to answer, or we should see if we can connect them to somebody who can answer it for them, someone who's senior. I hope I answered that.
Yeah, probably because mostly like you said that if one is having, with your example, like diabetes, and he's eating the sweet and as a prasad, that so there Prabhuji, because mostly people think that we are into bhakti now, we should not be getting that much of reactions and all. Where even I was a bit not clear, but today, yeah, I got very clear sense. So that part I want to, because I wanted to discuss, because some people do ask this question, we are into bhakti now, so why I will get such reactions, why this is happening to me. So there, should I like go and tell these things, or?
I see. what is more important is that there are certain things which are told in devotion, and then there is our situation which may not be very aligned with it. So Prabhupada stressed on the regulative principles. Regulative principles means like at our home we have a regulator for fan, right? So you realize that something may not be in my life is not very aligned with what all the great devotees do or great acharyas do. So I understand I need to improve myself. That should be there. I want to change. The most important thing for a practicing sadhaka is that he should have a desire to change. Until you are seeing Krishna face to face, you must realize that you need to purify yourself. You need to purify yourself from selfish desires. And for that, the one and only first thing that you need to do is that you need to have a desire to change. If I have a desire to change, then how we reduce a fan's speed is we slowly change it, right? So Gaur Gopal Prabhu gives an example. Somebody used to smoke 55 cigarettes a day. Then he tried to bring it to zero. After 2-3 days, he started smoking even more. So what is the regulation? You bring it to 45. Then you try to bring it to 40. Then you try to bring it to 30. Then you will be, so what is happening is that the first important thing is you take control of your mind. Okay, by giving it. So that is a process. It takes time, and that is how we all are in here, that we all understand our gaps and there's a desire to change. If that desire to change is there, then it would be very inspiring to just get into knowledge. Simple. This is like if I talk about diet, let's say gulab jamun thing, right? What is how you could live longer? If you just get into a dietitian thing, they will tell you what all happens. Colon gets this thing. When we pass stool, the colon is not clean. If colon is not clean, 99% of diseases happen because colon is not clean. So the moment you take this, that every aspect of my life, there is some knowledge behind it. And if I will try to understand the life from the eyes of knowledge, it will definitely bring you to a point where you start eating healthy because you feel healthier. Like, if you reduce your dinner and you make it very simple, you avoid pizza or pasta eating at 10:30 in the night, the next morning you feel healthier. So it is a natural part towards happiness if you try to bring knowledge in every aspect of your life. So it can also be a very gradual process in that sense, what I'm saying. You will feel that healthy thing in that, So that inspires us to bring every aspect of our life towards knowledge. What is the right way of eating? What is the right way of sleeping? Sleeping from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock is so good that sleeping from 12 o'clock in the night to 10 o'clock also will not give you. So this is understanding how to sleep. What is the right way to eat? What is the right way to do this? So slowly people will come to knowledge with that. Whatever we can share and inspire people, that will really help them. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I am a retired person.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, when I was in service, what you have told that being a sincere person, we have to be sincere in discharging our duties, all those things. So, of course, I rendered that. And then I have faced so many problems also. Because I rendered about 40 years service, I have taken transfers around 20. So because of this only, one will come, ours is a cooperative sector, one will come, they won't admit my nature of work and all those things, but we are not ready to leave our ethics. So we were always in the perfect manner. So I am not supported. Or otherwise they will they will make me to transfer from one place to another. So nothing problem. So by the grace of Krishna, so I lead my happy life, of course. So even I am not increased my bank balance and so very simple and pencil. So that gives me much satisfaction in my life.
Yes.
After coming to Krishna consciousness, yes, even though you are given an example regarding that military officer, even though he has after retirement, he used to accustom to the services. So in the same manner, I am also, even after retirement, I am working in cooperative sector only as an auditor, just for auditing. Weekly, I used to go there for 1 or 2 days. So is it right to continue in that profession?
Correct.
And then is it affects my, actually by rendering that service, my personal life is not changed. So it is in, I am regularly in attending the classes, chanting, and everything is I am doing. So I am not giving up anything else. Thing is it better to continue, or otherwise I am ready to quit also. So nothing problem for me. This is my request, Mataji. Please give me an advice.
Hare Krishna.
So
So
before that, I'll just add here that
yes.
Krishnamurti Prabhu is one person among few. He is attending all our classes, like morning the Srimad Bhagavatam, afternoon Chaitanya Charitamrita, night again Srimad Bhagavatam, spiritual pastimes. So all these classes Prabhu is attending. So I just wanted to add this.
Amazing. Okay. So first of all, my obeisances to you, Prabhuji, and I beg you please bless me so that I can follow your path and be ethical in my workplace as much as or even half of what you are doing, Prabhuji. One thing that that I have realized, and I would call it out loud, is that CEO of every company in this world is Krishna. CEO of every company in this world is Krishna. And sometimes Krishna rewards us by a promotion or an increase in salary, or sometimes he rewards us with bhakti. Okay. So whatever you do, if you do it ethically, Krishna is going to reward you. His reward may come through those human beings that are there, above you. And even if they don't, he will do it for you because he's the CEO. And that's how we live our lives. We live it because we are finally serving Krishna, right? And so that's why we try to change the definition of our success from bank balance to ethics and morality, right? Even if we have to face hardships from people who are above us, but they don't understand this. Okay. So hats off to you for that you did that, even though it is a path of pain. Okay. It's a path of pain, and it is very important for a sadhaka to become friends with pain, because a path of sadhaka is a path of struggle, and struggle comes with pain, so the more you progress, advance on this path, you have to realize that the pain that comes when you try to follow the path of Krishna is a very welcome pain, not self-inflicted, not where unnecessarily or because of tamo or rajo we are doing. So that is one aspect. Now I would really raise the bar very high, Prabhuji, because this is perfect. What you are doing, my advice is that you don't have to change anything in this. Okay. And nobody else can decide this for you. You are the one who would know what you need to do. By you asking me something for 2 minutes, I cannot tell you what is right for you. So you are the best judge for that. Okay. But now I will raise the bar very high, Prabhuji. And that is what we sing in our Guru Puja, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Okay, so it is said that the lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which one can attain pure devotional service. Pure devotional service means that there is no dependence on my Nishkam Karma Yoga. That means I am not attached to anything of this worldly matter, and you can do that while you are working also. It is not so much on this, it's about a consciousness. I'm talking about at the level of consciousness, right? You could be a completely a person practicing it in yukta vairagya and maybe working 18 hours a day also. Okay, like no examples probably for that. You are the only example for that, Prabhuji, who's doing it so beautifully. So there should be a desire that even though for me, I am dependent on my karma, whether I am able to do Nishkam, no, I cannot, because only Brahmanas and Kshatriyas to some extent can do Nishkam Karma Yoga. The definition of Nishkam Karma Yoga changes for businessmen and Shudras, that is employees. The definition itself changes because there is money involved. So you cannot have pure Nishkam Karma there. Okay, so it's just on the focus. For employees, it's the focus on skills, and for businessmen, it is the focus on their business aspect, not so much focus on money. That is the definition. So definition itself changes for Nishkam Karma Yoga for this. So true Nishkam Karma Yoga can only be done by Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas. Now, in that sense, that the money is not involved in what they are doing. Now, our aspect, we should have a desire that one day, all I want to do from morning to evening is bhakti, keval bhakti, nothing else. That desire. And that desire, if somebody can have that desire, so I cannot do it today, but if I can pray for that and burn that like a fire for next 20 years, 30 years, the moment life will create that opportunity for me, I'll be ready for it. You know, so that is the only aspect. It's a very high aspect, it's a very high aspect, right? But I'm just setting that because in the service of Krishna, you know, sky is the limit. So that one, Prabhuji, just that. Once again, I'll request you to please bless me, Prabhuji, so I can walk on the path you have walked.
No, Prabhuji, I am very least and the dust. I am not so proud.
I also
to
want
say
to be that only, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, thing is, by entering to the Krishna consciousness, after entering to this Krishna consciousness, you believe it or not, I have forgotten everything. I have forgotten everything. The only thing is chanting and reading and hearing classes. That's all. If anything else, let the world go to the hell. I am least bothered about it. Still, that is the only thing. So only thing is, even after retirement, I am going that. Is it right? Of course, even they used to. I will give the 10,000, 5,000. No. What I work, to that extent, what extent I have to take salary from you, that much only I will accept, or otherwise no, I deny it. No, nothing. You are not supposed to give me 10,000 rupees for doing for 1,000 rupees work. So it is enough for me to, yes, I deny it.
No, it is very good, Prabhuji. And you're already using it in Krishna's service and
Yes, of course.
self-preservation. Then
Yes.
I don't see anything. And in fact, rather Prabhupada would encourage something like that till, you know, that if somebody is financially independent also, then most of the people, they advise that you do that process. Like Arjuna was told, right? Arjuna, even if you are ready for the next part, you should still do your duty, because it will inspire others. First is that. Second, you cannot even maintain your body if you don't, you know, continue your occupation. And second, Prabhupada would say, we don't renounce from this world. We need the money, and we need the money so that we can use it in Krishna's service. So I don't see any issue from Guru Sadhu Shastra.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pranams, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Dandavad pranams.
Hare Krishna. So we'll end the class here. Once again, thank you, Prabhu. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo anantakoti
की जय, सुबह प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Shall I end the session, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare